Welcome to another RimWorld video where today we're going to be talking about how to build a kill box, or at least how to build a kill box the way that I do it. I know there's a million ways to build a kill box, and I want to show you how I do mine. You're only going to need 2 mods for this. The third mod I think everybody should have anyway in their games, and the first mod you're going to need for this style of kill box is called reinforced walls. There are several kinds of mods that do this, but this particular one is the one that I like. It allows you to build, as you may have guessed, reinforced walls. So much stronger walls that use a stone and some additional amount of steel, or some material and some extra steel. It also allows you to build embrasures, which again, there are a few mods that do this, but reinforced walls is the one that I like. The second mod you're going to need is called trap disable. That'll allow you to do is your pawns will be able to move freely through your traps, as well as your animals and any prisoners you may have. And it's important because of how I build this particular kind of kill box. The third mod you're going to need for this isn't really one you absolutely have to have for the build, but I think everyone should have it in their game anyway, and it is pretty handy to have. It's called no burn metal, or basically your steel won't catch on fire. So I think that's pretty handy to have, and you should have it in your games anyway, in my opinion. There are also several mods that do this. The one that I use just so happens is called no burn metal. Okay, with all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and clean up this area, and then we will get to building the kill box. Alright, now that we have the area cleaned up, it's time to go ahead and start the process of building the kill box. Alright, normally when I get started on this, I'll go ahead and do everything in planning mode. It's just so I can visualize how it's all going to look when it's completed. Then I'll put the walls down on top of our plans. I do have a mod for planning, which makes things a little bit easier to visualize. So I'll go and show that mod on screen as well if you're interested. It's very handy. Okay, so I think we're going to do our wall planning in blue. We're going to assume the enemies will be coming in from the north, or that's where we want them to come in at least, if they're not going to be sappers or breachers or anything like that. So let's go ahead and figure out where they're going to be coming in at. So if we want a 2-way maze, we'll bring this, and then we'll put our doors down here momentarily. We'll make sure we block that in. We'll block that in as well. A little extra material, but that's okay. And then we're going to have them come in on this side. So they'll walk in, they'll go into our kill box, they'll go through the maze and pop out right here. So let's go ahead and cancel that plan right there. And then we'll put our spike traps down. See, this is where trap disable comes in handy, because we're going to be walking over our traps to go fix them or replace them. We'll have a few doors down. Typically, I like doing auto doors once you have the technology, but regular doors are fine until you get that. Okay, moving on. The actual killing field. The enemies will walk out right here, so let's go ahead and put down an extra wall over here so the enemies can't use anything to stand on. We'll put an extra wall down, and we will put our shooting area, let's say, right about here. So we'll bring that down a ways. Let's just say 20 tiles. It all depends on how big your colony is. We'll do it 20 tiles for now. Give us plenty of room, because what you're going to see here in a second is the enemies are going to pop out. They're going to want to walk this way and go this way. So what we want to do is encourage that. We want that to happen. So what we are going to do, and you'll see it all come together here in a second. You can make this room as big or as small as you want. I try to do maybe 2 deep, 3 deep, depending on the colony size. So this looks a little interesting right now, but you'll see where we're going with this in a second. Let's go ahead and put our walls down now. I am in God mode, so I have everything open and available to me. So if I can, and I have the material, I like doing these walls in heavy reinforced uranium. Everything's available, including all the modded stuff I have. If you don't have a lot of uranium, which I know it's hard to come by, let's say you have a lot of granite or limestone or sandstone. Let's just say granite for now. We'll go ahead and put our walls down. Each one of these kind of walls will take 15 of whatever stone and 5 steel. If you're doing steel reinforced walls, it'll take 20 steel. So there's our maze. Here's our additional wall. We may or may not put this wall here. We'll see how it all shapes up. This will be heavy reinforced wall. This will be, and this little node will be as well. Here and here, we're going to want to be doing the heavy reinforced embrasures. Ideally, you really want to do these out of the toughest material you have available to you. Let's say we don't have enough uranium or even plasteel. Let's just keep going with granite. So we're going to have embrasures here and embrasures here. Let me go ahead and clear these plans out of the way. Now we can see a little bit better. The one thing I didn't do when I was planning here in the dev mode was include doors. So of course you're going to want doors. Let's go ahead and knock out room for a couple doors. We're also going to want doors up through here. And you might want to go ahead and put a door right here as well. If you have it available, again, I like to use the auto doors. But let's say we don't have that technology researched yet. We'll go ahead and just put down some regular steel doors. You don't want wood, but you do want something that opens quickly. So we'll go ahead and put our doors down there and here. You want to leave this without a door. What you're wanting to do is get the AI to walk through your maze and then path down over here as your pawns shoot from this location and your turrets shoot from this location. You could also go a step further and space your turrets out with walls. So we could do that if we wanted to. Go ahead and space your turrets out with the walls. If one of your turrets gets destroyed, then you'll be able to minimize the amount of damage. I did kind of goof here a little bit, but that's okay. Maybe we put 2 turrets here and hope for the best, right? All right, let's go ahead and get some turrets down. Let's go ahead and get some traps down. And then you can see some of the other things we're going to be doing too, to have preventative measures in place so enemies can't take cover and use our defenses against us. So we'll go over here. And I typically use whatever stone I have available. I've got a ton of mods turned on that you don't need for this at all. But if you want them, they're certainly fun to have. Let's just say we have slate available. So we're going to want to make sure we barricade right here, so enemies can't stand in this corner and get cover. We also want to barricade down here for the same exact reason. We want enemies to be pushed here. They can walk across them, but they cannot stand on the barricade, so they'll be forced out into your killing field. Same here. Down here, you're going to have 3 pawns lined up waiting. As soon as they come across the corner, your 3 meleeers are going to engage because there's 3 lines of sight versus 1 target. So they'll clean up anybody who gets past your shooting pawns and your turrets. So if we wanted to, we can go and throw some turrets down. Let's do a regular RIMWORLD turret since these are all modded. We'll do 2 right here because we made a little mistake, and that's okay. Now, lastly, this door right here, it's up to you how you want to design it. I like having just the door, but you could have a little hallway or at least 1 wall or something like that. Typically, enemies are not going to attack this wall, or rather, excuse me, this door. But you can have some of your meleeers if things start getting backed up right here. There's too many tribals raiding you, or there's a couple of centipedes you don't want to deal with your turrets and your ranged folks. You can send a meleeer behind the enemy lines, or have them wait right here to pick up some stragglers, and then trade your meleeers out as they start to get injured, or whatever the case may be. And the plus side to not walling the backside of these turrets is if enemies do break down through this door or sap through the mountain, turrets will then engage. which is very nice to have. You could wall in this way back here. The downside to walling it in is if this gets broken, your turrets won't engage. The plus side is if you need to retreat and fall back on this side, the enemies can actually use these embrasures against you. So it's a double benefit to have these extra walls right here to contain explosions, but also break up enemy lines of sight if it's a problem. So there's one other thing I like doing that I think is really, really handy, especially when it comes to mechanoid raids, particularly the centipedes who have inferno cannons, or perhaps the pirates who may be using incendiary launchers or Molotov cocktails. It's an early research and it's easy to get to. The fire foam popper. They're relatively inexpensive and they're very, very handy to have around when it comes to those mech raids. You might even want to put a few back here. You could put one in the middle of your kill box and set it off early if you know that mechanoids are coming with inferno cannons. It's entirely up to you. I typically don't because it'll get destroyed by turrets or friendly fire. It's nice to have, but it's not necessary, and these things are easy come, easy go, but they do cost 75 steel in one component, so it's a matter of how many materials you have available. And then, of course, no kill box is complete without an array of traps. So typically, I'll just do wood traps for as long as I can get away with it. If the enemies start getting heavily armored, then, of course, I'll start bringing in steel traps. I rarely ever go with plasteel, but if you are completely loaded down with plasteel, see here I made a mistake. I put the doors down before I put the traps down. So even in a tutorial video, mistakes can happen, and that's okay. That's okay. You can just simply move those doors, no big deal. Trap disable will not let those traps kill your pawns. They will slow your pawns down. It's good to look at mistakes, even in a tutorial video, and learn from them. Hey, maybe put down plans for traps before you put down the doors, huh? Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this is something that you can use in your games. I found this to be a very successful kill box. Oh yeah, one more thing. Don't let trees grow in your kill box. Go ahead and finish concreting that out. We can always learn something in RimWorld. Even during the tutorial video, we can point out mistakes and do better next time. Thanks for watching. If you want to see any other videos on any other subjects, please let me know in the comments.